Hello everybody, welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today we're going to talk about Lieutenant Kirtar. Before we get started, I've got a special shout out for us. Mr. Chris Thompson has become my latest patron. Thank you so much, Chris. I do appreciate it. But now let's get to Lieutenant Kirtar here. Now, the problem inherent in this quest that I'm on is that at some point in time, I'm going to build archetypes more than once. Like, I have elf tribal a million times, so much so that it's boring now. Goblins, whatever. And I've actually built a bird soldier deck, if I'm not mistaken. It's way back there. I can't remember who that was. Commander Isha? Or was she Weird Protection? Anyway, bird soldiers didn't really appeal to me, and besides, there's not a lot of depth there to flesh out a tribal deck for it. You can do soldiers and you can do birds, but it just loses something. But anyway, 3 mana 2/2 flyer for your commander is not bad. Now, you spend some mana and sack him to exile an attacking creature. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we can do this even if he's tapped, so we can still, use him for the quick beats and then exile something huge. Yeah, but that's not where I went with him. It was not at all. The okay, hear me out now. Y'all know my mind works a little different. I thought, what if we didn't put him back in the command zone? What if we just spent the 2 and sacked him, and he went to the graveyard, and then returned to our hand? But that means, number one, I have to play with my hand exposed. And number two, I cannot draw any more creatures. So I can repeatedly reuse Kirtar and not have to pay the commander tax on him because I'll be casting from my hand. Downside, can't draw any more creatures. So I was like, what is something I can do to where I don't have many creatures? And to be honest with you, this deck started off creatureless. It has one creature in it right now, and that is Mesa Enchantress. Just I could not put it in there because it's our card draw spell. Like, exclusive, you are looking at all the card draw in the deck. Period. End of story. Yeah, kind of fragile. But with her being the only creature in the deck, the Kirtar Enduring Renewal thing, of course, I've always loved Enduring Renewal. It's enables dumb shenanigans. Now in monocolor, not so much. But I thought, okay, so where do I go from there? I'm what, 2-3 cards in a deck? And I was like, well, if I'm not playing a lot of creatures, well, I need to have creatures. So that got me thinking about Sigil of the Empty Throne. Yeah, here we go. It's tribal angels, or tribal tokens, or enchantments, or what have you. So I was really kind of down with this 4/4 angel deal. And I said, well, I do have another copy of the Anointed Procession, which plays really nicely with it. And also that sick turn 2 drop. Oh my gosh. If you get it on turn 2 in a big game, you just, that's got to be what winning the lottery feels like. I don't know. I haven't experienced that. So here we were we're pretty deep with enchantments. Enchantments to get angels. Well, Enlightened Tutor is, of course, going to go try to find the sigil. Idyllic Tutor would be awesome as well, but nowadays you can find Enlightened Tutors substantially cheaper than Idyllic Tutors because that Joker's only been printed once. That would be awesome for Commander 19. That'll happen. But our ramp is in the fact of Soul Ring, Marble Diamond, and 1 Power Stone, and that's it. Now, let's see what kind of enchantments we've got. Now, the beautiful part about white is the crusade effects, or what a lot of people nowadays call the anthem effects. Crusade is the only one that actually affects all white creatures. Glorious Anthem is just your creatures. But the anthem effects are predominantly in white. They're mostly enchantments. There's a few artifacts here and there, but they're mostly enchantments. And they pump your team. Well, as you cast them, you're going to get a 4/4 angel. And they pump your team, so it's going to be bigger than that. Did I mention they were angels? Now, Sarah Aviary is. It's not amazing. Yeah, I know. It's 4 mana for what is that? Favorable winds. Blue has this at uncommon now for half the cost. However, we're in white, and if we want this ability in white, this is what we got to do. We got to play with reserve list homelands cards. Yeah. Leyline of the Meek. This is like, in this instance, is one of the only times where you are fine not. I mean, you're fine just casting it. Because if you just cast it later on and get the enchantment fall trigger, enchantment fall. You get that trigger, plus your tokens get bigger. And of course, the really, really cheaper version, apparently, the starting play is worth a couple mana. Spear of Heliod, whoop, is going to flip down on us. It has a little utility beyond being an anthem. Honor of the Pure is pretty cheap at 2 mana. The Dictate of Heliod has flash, so you get to do it right before you untap. I guess that's a thing, although you'd be surprised this particular card, how many people played at sorcery speed. It's kind of weird. And then we have Marshall's Anthem. Yeah, I know. We only have 2 creatures in the deck. And there's a good chance if we've got our Enduring... Well, it's not a good chance, but if we've got the Enduring Renewal thing going off, there won't be any in the yard. So, more times than not, this is a 4 mana anthem. Period. But if one of our 2 creatures have died, then we can get them back. Now, Kindred Boon, let's face it, we're choosing Angel. We are really, really choosing Angel. So, the Kindred Boon is going to make them really good. And of course, we got 2 more ways to make Angels. While True Conviction's not an anthem, let's face it, it's a win condition. It is. I would love to know the actual, of course, there's no way to know because so many casual games happen all the time. How many games have y'all played in Resolve True Conviction and lost? Probably not that many. I would venture to say that because it's such an overpowerful card and you're only going to play it if it just drastically puts you ahead. But here again, like I said, we have 2 creatures, our commander and then 1 little card drawing chick. So we've got to have ways to deal with creatures. So first and foremost, we went with, let's face it, board wipes. Now, obviously, our board wipes, we want to keep as much of our stuff as possible. So Hour of Reckoning was the first place I went. Yes, it has Convoke. I don't know if that matters a lot. I have never personally convoked this card. But this may be the deck to do it. And of course, we have Sunscour, Winds of Wrath, End Hostilities, Fumigate, and we have to be playing with Kirtar's Wrath. I mean, it's his name. It's kind of one of those things that just it's got to be done. Now, let's look other removal. Of course, I have a Disenchant. Not an enchantment, but it is fairly decent. Now, let's talk about Flickering Ward. While Flickering Ward is not particularly a removal spell, it's not at all, but I've got it batched with those that are because of the repeatable ability to pull it back to your hand and recast it and pull it back and recast it. Granted, you can put this on your probably our card drawing chick because let's face it, we don't want to put it on Kirtar because the whole point with Kirtar is to just keep nuking him over and over. But Shackles does a similar thing. Now, granted, you have to catch the creature tapped to make it matter, or, somehow anyway, it just doesn't untap it. But you can return Shackles to your hand, so that gets you repeatable cast abilities. Kind of like, of course, the Force Worship. Force Worship, though, is kind of the other side. It's cheap to cast and expensive to return. But if you're making 4/4, 6/6 giant angels, it's probably worth the turn before it's your turn, bring it back so that you can cast it on your turn, get another angel, and choose a better target or what have you. Seal of Cleansing, of course, is the enchantment version of the disenchant. I'm kind of running both. Spirit Link, I have with the removal, you'll notice, because it's amazing. Now, keep in mind, this is not lifelink. Spirit Link, it's worded differently. This does not grant lifelink. It's really good, especially if you've got somebody who has like some kind of weird pestilence demon thing going on, or Heartless Hitotsugu. Oh my god! Heartless Hitotsugu. Ooh! Oh, that's a cool Boros deck, isn't it? I guess I got to finish the first Heartless Hitotsugu deck before I do that. But anyway, of course, we have Oblivion Ring, Soul Snare, Banishing Light, and Skybind. But Card Shop gave this to me. Thank you, by the way. Now, that ain't a whole lot of ways to get angles. So I did include a few other token makers. I really like this Guilds card, I'm telling you. To gain life, and because this kind of makes tokens, and you gain some card advantage. So it's not bad. I really kind of like it. And, Storm Herd. Because 10 mana spells are supposed to win you the game. Now, let's see what we got. Let's look at our other enchantments here. Authority of the Consuls. We're getting kind of tied up here, so let me pull back. Authority of the Consuls. There's no reason to not to. It blanks haste. Haste creatures do not matter anymore. It almost takes haste away from them. And, it's a life gain. Of course, if you got that other card, you can pay you 2 mana, draw your card, and it's all gravy. Mind Excavation's, of course, going to get back the Sigil of the Empty Throne that somebody got tired and destroyed. That's how that works. Rootborn Defenses is going to prevent you from, all your stuff dying to their board wipe, to their, your inopportune board wipe. Blinding Light, so good. I think it's been printed like 4 times, too. Just is going to tap everything that ain't, well, not everything that's not yours, because white is a fairly popular color. However, none of your stuff's tapping. What do you care? Of course, Brave the Elements. It's one of my personal favorite combat tricks. Crystal Chimes is also going to get you those artifacts back. Helm of God's going to make one angel ballin', or Mace Enchantress, or, strap Kirtar up with the helm and get in there for some commander damage, some commander wins, That's kind of why I got the Ethereal Armor in there as well. Open the Vaults is going to get it all back. Okay. All right. Stay with me here. Open the Vaults is a good card for the deck, regardless. But when I come across Open the Vaults, there's something that just really, really appealed in my mind. Let's look at Runes of Protection Black. Yeah, I know. It's sorry, and I'm that guy. But these are strict upgrades to the old Circles of Protection because they cycle. This is amazing. So, in a white enchantment deck, here we are. We're already kind of on theme. But what if you draw it and nobody's playing black in your pod? Well, you just cycle this joker away. It's great. It's perfect. It smooths out your draw because we have obviously black, red, white, green, blue, and yes, even the artifact one. So it smooths out them draws, and it gives you protection from what you need if it's the color that you need. So I really thought that they were amazing, especially with the hey, let's bring all enchantments back. Whoa. Yeah, yeah. And since, I had those in there, I went ahead and threw in a story circle because why not? Solemnity. Right now, I'm recording this. It is still November, and our play group's rule is for the month is we have all creatures have persist for the month. I'll be so glad when this rule is over with, because people like me play with Solemnity, so that means creatures just can't die. But anyway, it's a really good card. It does. I mean, it doesn't hose walkers, but man, it hoses +1 counters and energy and poison. Now, it is a direct nombo with Pursuit of Knowledge. Okay. Yeah, yeah. I know you think I'm crazy here because I'm playing Pursuit of Knowledge with in a mono white deck that I don't have a real good capacity to draw cards in. And I'll tell you why. It's not bad. A lot of times your opponent, well, at least in my local meta anyway, your opponents will take care of the card drawing for you. They'll make you draw some cards. And as a matter of fact, this past Friday, Black Friday, when I went to play cards, we had 2 Force Fruitions out. Somebody played Force Fruition and somebody played Copy Enchantment because, that's awesome. And so you play a card and you draw 14. Pursuit of Knowledge fixes that. You will never lose to Force Fruition again with Pursuit of Knowledge. And yeah, I know that's, kind of pigeonholing for one card. Yeah, that's a lot. I know, but there's a lot of, all forcing opponents to draw style cards and decks. And this, and hey, long story short, you're trading 3 cards for 7. Not bad. I used to use this with Brainstorm. Kind of sweet. Or, shoot. What is that? Green card. Sylvan Library is amazing, but it's better than Brainstorm, actually. We are only playing 3 artifacts, so I run the Damping Field in there, so, because, screw you artifacts, that's why. Sphere of Safety is in there, because more than likely, we're just going to be hard almost, if not impossible, to attack if Sphere of Safety's out. It's kind of hard to say. Ghostly Prison should also be in here, but for the life of me, I forgot. I'll be honest with you, until this moment. Wow. Ghostly Prison. I'm a noob. Oh. Anyway, High Ground. My creatures can double block. Rest in Peace. Here again, kind of a nombo with some of the other cards, but it's detrimental to a lot of decks. If I see Muldrotha in the command zone or Gitrog or any of those crazy graveyard shenanigans, I'll run this Joker out on turn 2 bigger than life. I don't care if it cuts off my own face. Null Chamber. Risky business here. A lot of times the way to make Null Chamber work is bigger games. In a 4-player pod or a 3-player pod, especially, it's hard to pull off. But a big game, you can politic your way to where you can get an opponent to name something for you. More than likely, you're going to hose two people's commanders, but you've got to perform a favor or be a fearful force to where that player won't choose you and your commander. So, I don't know. It's kind of risky, but for decks that are reliant on their commander, it just kind of shuts it down. Now we go to the non-basic lands. Of course, we have the Secluded Steppe, Rogue's Passage, Forbidding Watchtowers in there just because, give a little bit of blocking capability. And our last card is Seraph Sanctuary because, we're going to be playing with angels. Well, that is it for Lieutenant Kirtar. Wow, 368. Almost ready to do another article. Now, I do appreciate y'all watching, especially the never would have dreamed that the whole Patreon thing would have kicked off. Thank you so much, you four. And I think that's what I've got. We're at 21 and a half minutes, so I better shut up. Appreciate y'all watching. Y'all let me know what you think. But right now, I think we're going to shuffle and cut.